Hey guys, I'm Jacqueline,
Now, Marcella?
and we are here to do a spoilery discussion on From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout.
We just finished this book yesterday, guys.
This was our book club pick for the month of April, and yes, we are already starting the second book because this was so good, you guys.
Yes.
Um, we have like a non-spoiler. We did talk about non-spoilery stuff, but this now we are getting into all the spoilery details because we need to talk about it, especially the ending of this book.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so right away, I loved the way Hawke and Poppy met. Like in this book, like we're in the Red Pearl, and she kind of is out and she's not supposed to be because she's the maiden, so she's very sheltered and she doesn't go out like that. So when she's undercover kind of in the Red Pearl and she just wants to experience life and see what's out there, I loved the way that she met Hawke, like how he didn't know who she was, and like she knew who he was, but she didn't know that he was eventually going to end up being her guard.
That was such a steamy scene. I loved it. That was
Oh
great.
god, that was such a fun way of meeting. And she's like trying not to talk when they're like in that room, and
Mm.
she's like, I don't want to like keep this going, but like I want to see what's gonna happen. And yeah, Hawk is very charismatic and he's very charming and he's a bad boy, and you don't really realize how bad of a bad boy he is until the end of this book.
Yeah. I
Um,
didn't know he was that bad.
yeah. So yeah, I love the way that they met. I thought the way that they met was just a lot of fun. And I know that she wrote, because I saw on her website, she has the Red Pearl scene from his point of view. And I have to go read that because I'm so curious. Because at the end of the book, like everything just gets turned upside down. So it's kind of like when he went into the Red Pearl, he probably knew that it was the maiden and that was Poppy.
Mhm.
Just wild.
Yeah, I feel like in general, like the end of the book like really throws you because it twists around everything. Like everything that we had read and we assumed to be true about like this whole world is not true. So it's like now we're gonna relearn the world of like how it truly is
The right way.
in the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. Like, in Poppy's, we're in Poppy's head, and we just know what she knows. And I think that's kind of like that's what's really cool about like first person with like I don't know. I think it was really cool how Jennifer Armentrout decided to tell the story in Poppy's point of view because you really only know what she knows as the narrator. You don't know the world like as a whole, like we're really just seeing it through her eyes, and she believes that all of this is normal and this is the way it's supposed to be. And it's not until the very end that she really learns that no, everything that you've learned in your entire life is a lie. And I think that like it was interesting because like as you're reading this book, I was like, this world is not good. I'm like, what is this? Like, why is she not allowed to have any friends? Why is she not allowed to go out? Why is she not allowed to, why does she
I feel
have to have
like
herself covered?
yeah, the world I feel like there was always something up. Like something was always just so off about the world. Like it was just not a good world and how she was treated so terribly as the maiden too. Like she was so sheltered to the point where she wasn't really supposed to have relationships. Even with like Tawny was her friend's name.
Yeah, her
Right? So with
friend.
Tawny, she isn't really supposed to have like that's like somebody who is like her like handmaiden type person where like she's not really supposed to be her friend, and so she couldn't really like act like her friend because like if she did she can get in trouble.
Yeah.
um like just like in trouble by just like the littlest things. Like she wasn't allowed to have friends, she wasn't allowed to go outside, she wasn't allowed to, like she was basically just nothing is how she would describe herself. Like she was just there, like she wasn't really allowed to like speak, like she had no voice. Yeah, it was a really
Yeah.
terrible life that she had as the maiden.
I mean, and what's really sad is she even mentions at one point because the two figures that are in her life who are so like are huge to her and who she really cares about and who she does form relationships with are Victor, who is her father figure, and then Tawny, who's her best friend. But she even says at one point, she's like, these people are paid to be around me. If I was just me, would they even be my friend? And it's just like really sad that she even would have to think that. And it's kind of interesting because, like, would Tawny be her best friend if she wasn't the maiden and wasn't chosen? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just really interesting, like, when you think, like, how her world was. And I really loved Victor in this book, and I was very, very sad when he died.
Oh
I
my gosh, that was a horrible death. Their relationship, because that was like a father figure to her, not having her parents around, so that was really sad.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. I figured it was gonna happen. So like I figured because he was kind of like the mentor kind of like I don't know. I figured he would go eventually, but I didn't.
Usually when you have like a figure like that in a book, I feel like it has like usually they'll die that way. It's like she can rise above and like she grows from it. That's usually what happens. So I figured too, but I knew it was gonna hurt anyway.
I knew it was gonna hurt. I didn't think it was gonna happen till like the second book. Like I didn't expect it so early in. Like it happens fairly like middle-ish, and like I was like, oh my gosh, like
yeah, it happens toward the middle end area.
Yeah. So yeah, when that happened, I was like, whoa, I was very surprised because I didn't know that was gonna happen so soon. And even in the beginning, when she loses her other guard, Rylan, when she loses him in the garden, I was like, oh my god.
That's also where you start to realize how messed up this world is because you have the Duke who is like totally just disrespecting Rylan and like saying his name the wrong way, and she's like getting really, really angry and she ends up getting caned, which is horrible.
Yeah, these punishments that he would give out where she would
and they're so normal to her too. Like she just takes them because that's what she's been used to her whole life. Like she's just used to getting like that's like a normal part of what happens.
Yeah, like it was so demeaning, like reading like that scene when when that does happen, and she has to like undress herself, and then she has to count how many he gives her, like with the cane, and Lord Mezzanine or whatever that asshole's name was, he was like watching, and he was such a creep, and oh my god, his death scene was the most satisfying thing.
Yes, I was so happy.
I was so happy like that he got what was coming at him from her. And I think Poppy in general as a character is just so great. Like she's so cool, and I think that she's gonna like I'm very excited to see her grow, and I'm very excited to see how powerful she's going to become because I feel like
I love how she already knows how to fight too. Like we don't have to really go through that where she gets trained and like she has to learn how to fight. Like she already knew from the beginning of the book how to defend herself, even though she wasn't really supposed to know how to do that, and like she's not really allowed to do that. Yeah, I thought that was really cool that she knows how to use her dagger.
Yeah, and she keeps this dagger like on her thigh, like concealed at all times, and she has it on her just in case. And yeah, I thought that was so cool because yeah, she with her past, when you learn about her, because one thing that's really interesting is she has these scars on her, like near her eye, because she got attacked by a craven, which we learn are like vampires also, but like they're kind of more like zombie vampires. You know what I pictured them like? I pictured them like in I don't think that's what they look like, but I pictured them for some reason like if you ever watch Buffy, the vampires in season 7, the Uber vampires.
Kind of, I can see that.
I kind of pictured them like that mixed with like Walking Dead, like zombies. Like they're kind of like zombies, but
like
not.
They're just like vicious, rabid vampires, really.
Yeah, and yeah, I didn't realize this was a vampire book until they went and I think it was probably early on when she went to go kill this one guy like who was cursed, who was bitten. And they said that he had like the 2 punctures on his neck, and I was like, "Oh, this is a vampire book. What?"
Yeah, I was surprised too. I didn't know that going into this book
I didn't
either,
know
so that
this
was a
was
surprise.
Yeah, I had no idea this was a vampire book. And then
It's
he
very
realized,
interesting, her power.
yeah,
We find it out like early on what she could do, and I feel like there's still so much that we don't know about her powers. I think that we're gonna really learn more in book two. I feel like there's like more to it and to what she could do, but I
yeah,
still think it was so cool, and it was unique too, because I feel like it's not really a power that you see in books all the time.
it's really not. It's very rare, and
It
I
seems like so
think,
she could take people's pain.
yeah, and then as the book continues on, we learn that it's not just limited to taking away someone's pain and giving them happiness in those moments. It's also she's able to open her senses and sense what they're feeling.
Right.
Whether they're feeling like usually it was just pain that it would kind of gravitate to, but then she's kind of able to make that more and she can kind of like expand on that and take apart like different emotions, which is very interesting. And
She can kind of like make people like not even take the pain, but like make people feel different
yeah,
ways too. Which is what she
yeah,
did. She did that with Hawke in that scene.
yeah, she did that with Hawk. Oh man, oh god. Okay, so Hawk, I really, you know, we love enemies to lovers, right? That's like a good, like a great trope and everything like that. But like, I love this enemies to lovers because now they literally like fight and then like make out like a second later, and it's
Oh
wonderful.
yeah, it's not really enemies to lover till like the end of this book. I feel like you're gonna see that so much more in the second book, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
their banter is so good too.
it's really good. It's so much fun. And I really even in the beginning, like there's like that scene when like the way that the world is when we start the book, I think we're in Macedonia. That's like the name of where we are. And there's this rise, which is kind of like this wall that surrounds like this kingdom that we're in. It and past it there's like the blood forest, which is like this really scary forest, and there's this mist that's in it, and that's where all of like the craven are, and that's where the bad things are, is what they know in what we originally like go into the story knowing. And then there's that scene when there's like the attack and she sneaks out because she wants to fight with them all. And I think that's so cool because she's not like she could so easily hide and stay where she is because she's protected. She has these guards around her, and but instead she wants to go and fight and be a part of it and wants to defend herself. And she is very against like because she felt helpless when she got that scar on her near her eye, and because of her past and because of the way that she lost her family, is she feels that if her family was able to defend themselves they might still be here. And so
Mm-hmm.
that helpless feeling, she never wants to feel that again. And I just think it was so cool how she goes out there with like her bow and arrow and she's just like getting everybody like scoring and like nobody knows that like the maiden is there like helping them fight.
She
Nobody
does a
knows.
really good job of sneaking around in this book
Yeah,
and not getting caught.
yeah, she does. And then Hawk eventually like finds her and he doesn't know it's her at first. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like they're like fighting because she's like trying to get away from him, like, oh my god, like you can't know that I'm out here. And yeah, so they're like fighting kind of, but like not really, but like it was still like so good. Like I loved that so much.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was really great. Like that was a really great scene. And then
I
how
like the scene with them when they go out, like they have the masks on
oh the
and it
right
was what?
the right
Uh-huh. And they were walking. I feel like that's where she noticed, like when they were walking in the gardens, like that's when she realized that he wants to be around her, like more. Like she realized that he actually likes her, like being around her, and he's not like just being around her because he's her guard.
yeah.
And I love that scene when they were like
I
walking
love
in the gardens.
that. I love that scene. I love when they went, then they go into the willow tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I love that. I thought that was so cool. And yeah, I really that was such a great scene. And I think that's the scene where I was like okay, so we went into this book I, for some reason, had the notion that this was going to be like a love triangle, like a series for some reason. It is not a love
Throughout, like,
triangle.
most of this, well, until the end, basically, when you find out who Hawke actually is, that he's the Dark One, I kept waiting. I was like, I think the Dark One is going to be the one that's going to end up with her, though. And I'm like, I don't want to, like, fall in love with Hawke too much if I'm going to end up liking the Dark One more. So this whole book, I was like, I don't want to, like, I'm trying not to love Hawke so much because I want to love the Dark One, too. Because I
No,
know that, like, I've just heard that everybody likes him.
that
So I was just so, like, confused because I'm like, when are we gonna, like, we're not gonna see the Dark One really till book 2? And then the end, I was like, oh, like, this whole time, this is the Dark One that I've been, like, waiting for.
So I loved Hawke, like, initially, like, I really did. And then the scene in the Willow, I was literally like, this is it for me. Like, this is the love of my life. This is it. This is it. It's just Hawke. And so I was, like, very confused as to how, like, for some reason I thought, like, this Castile that I had seen, like through the grapevine, like, on Twitter and TikTok, you know, you see the name Castile. And I was like, who, like, why? I don't know. Is that like a crack ship or something? Because Hawke is it.
No, I feel like my mind was so blown. I wasn't surprised that he was a vampire because there were so many hints, like, throughout the book where the scene when they were in, like, the dark and he was like, oh, you can't see that? And she's like, you can? I was like, he could see in the dark, okay. And then, like, how he doesn't smile with his teeth, like, there were little things where it wasn't normal and it was kind of like vampire. So I knew he was a vampire, but I did not think he was the Dark One. I thought maybe he worked with the Dark One or something towards the end when it was like the battle broke out and, like, Hawke wasn't around and she was, like, thinking, like, where is he? I hope he got out. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, he would be around trying to, like, find her. I was like, something else is going on here. Like, is he bad? Like, is he part of these people? Like, I don't know.
I was very betrayed. I had no idea he was working with the enemy at the time. I felt for Poppy at that scene when he comes in and she's like, Hawke, you have to get them. You have to get them. And, like, the Wolven are there. Like, we have, like, these monster werewolves that are there. And she's like, you have to kill them. And Hawke is just kind of, like, looks at her. And then he kills the guard that was with her. And then she kind of realizes at that time, oh my God. And then they fight. And it's great. And it's hot. And it's really
she is so betrayed in that moment.
I felt so bad for her. I felt so bad. And
but at the same time, like, the world that she knew was not real. Like, nothing that she was taught was the actual truth. And he told her that he basically was explaining to her at the end, like, how the world really is. We're going to see more of it in the second book, but
you know, was
like,
really
she
great.
Totally had everything backwards.
But the thing is, what I really loved is that she was questioning it throughout the book. Like, she eventually, like, as the book progresses, she's questioning it herself, and she feels like she's not allowed to question it because it's what she's just always known. And then she talks to Hawke about it, actually, which was really cool because, like, at the end, it ended up being, like, you know, that's probably, I think, another reason. I think he did fall in love with her, but I think another reason was that he knew that she was not, he always said, he's like, you're not what I expected. And I think that he expected the maiden to be so compliant to the laws that were in this kingdom, and she just was questioning it too and rebelling against it without even meaning to, really. But she was so sheltered that she felt like so caged in that she just wanted that freedom, and she would question why she didn't have it. And yeah, I thought that was really great because you got to see her question it as we were questioning it too, because we were like, why is this, like, there's no way this Duke is, like, the good guy. Like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, especially when Hawke found out that, like, she was being hit with the cane.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And how he was like, this is not okay. And she's just like, what do you mean it's not okay? type situation.
Yeah, well, I really like that she didn't like she would question it too, and they would have these discussions, and when they would discuss it, she would be like, "Oh, he feels kind of like the same way as me, so maybe I'm allowed to question these things," because she really didn't know that there was like a whole other side to it and that they
Mhm.
were lying to her. And then we really find out at the end that the Ascended are vampires, like the real vampires who are trying to
Oh my gosh, what they do is so messed up. They
yeah,
just take the people and just feed on them.
yeah, they feed on them, and then that's it. And that's what these like sons and daughters are that they claim are from the gods, and they're like the ones for the right. Like it is so twisted. And
So creepy too.
yeah. And like it makes sense because like everybody there, like all the Ascended that we've met are all like so bad. Like I don't even like the Duchess. Like I think she's evil too. But I think
Mhm.
she's evil in more of like a subtle way. And um yeah, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a great twist, like at the end, how the people that we've been with and like where we were was the bad place. And it was kind of like I don't want to compare books, but it kind of reminded me of like no spoilers, but like it's kind of like an ACOTAR thing. Like the second book is really I feel like where the series gets started and you're in like the world that you want to be in.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's kind of like the same with From Blood and Ash. Like I feel like now
Yeah,
where we're at towards
definitely.
right? And then like kind of
Mhm.
where we're at towards the end of the book. Like it's that feeling where the world just gets turned upside down and there's more than what you think is
Mhm.
going on. And yeah, I thought that was really I was very brave as a
I'm
writer.
excited though now that she like knows how messed up the world is.
Oh my god, but it's so complicated because like okay, so then there's like the world is still very it's hard to explain and like you understand it when you read it, but it's kind of like there's like this Atlantia place and that is what Hawke is. Like he's a vampire, but he's not like the Ascended. He's like a different kind of vampire and he's and then we find out she's also half of that. Like, what? That was like another twist at the very end. That she's half.
Yeah, that I'm like confused. We're gonna get her more of her her backstory on why like that is, but
Mhm.
that was another twist that was just like what?
What do you mean? um,
Well, because we get that really hot scene of she's feeding on him.
just no.
Oh my gosh, she's like she's drinking his blood, and then she like
Yeah,
just that just like makes her want him. It's just crazy.
it was just crazy how when he comes in and then he takes her and then he puts her in the cell because like she's kind of like prisoner because his whole goal was what happened was we learned which was very very sad it reminded me of Reese as well um that Hawke was he was put in this place where he was a prisoner for years and years and years and
Oh yeah, that was so sad how he was basically just used
he was used and tortured
and
and
tortured. Mhm.
it was bad and then we find out that they have his brother prisoner and his whole thing is he wants to trade the maiden for
See, but I
her.
don't so like he wants to trade her, but then it seems like he kind of like doesn't want to at the end. He kind of like strays away from that plan where he says because at the end it ends with him saying that he's going to marry her. So it's like, are you gonna marry her or are you trading her? What are you doing?
Oh my god, I'm like okay, so I love how he basically like throughout the book like how he kept saying I was not expecting this like this is so you're so intriguing like you're not what I expected and he fell in love with her and like that's why when they first do sleep together he's like just don't forget this like he says to her don't forget this like no matter what happens don't forget this moment that it's real like don't like like don't forget that this happened and I'm here with you and um oh my god when they finally like do it I was like when they finally like have sex for the first time it was just really really sweet because like for Poppy like that's such a huge deal and it was her last release of being like the maiden and being like the
Mhm.
figure. And it's like, and like I loved reading it because it was like in her point of view, she's like, this is my choice. Like I'm choosing this for the first time in my life. I'm choosing to do something for me. And I just love that because like I felt so bad for her throughout the whole book, how
Mhm.
she felt like she didn't have any choices and everything was just being done for her and to her, and she didn't have like a say in anything. And her relationship with Hawke is really where she does choose. Like even when they're in the Willow, like they do
Mhm, and
say
she's like, "I'm
something,
choosing to do this.
I'm
Nobody's
choosing to
this is
have.
like I'm like, yeah."
Yeah, and I love that. And oh my god, when they were in the Willow, like literally, like all I'm thinking is like the Taylor Swift Willow song. Like as I'm reading this scene, I'm like, life is a willow. Like,
That's funny.
um, but yeah, I love that scene. Like now you like look back at like all the scenes when Hawke was with her, and you're just like, oh my god. And then there's like this scene when she literally like tells him how she gets out without nobody finding her.
Mhm.
Like she's literally like, "Oh, well, if I go through the servant's door, nobody's gonna
Oh,
know that."
yeah, she 100% trusted Hawke
Yeah.
throughout this book.
Like now, like looking back, you're just like, "Oh my god!" Like she literally was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
this is how I get out with nobody knowing where I am. This is where everybody is at this time."
Yep, she gave him a lot of great information throughout the book.
um, yeah, and you know, because you're in her head. I trusted Hawke too. I had no clue at the very end when he came in, and I was very, and it was like right, it was like the night after, like the day after. Oh, like it was like the day after they got together, and it was just like I felt so bad for her. And yeah, then the people, like the people that he's with, a lot of them like hate her because of what she represents.
Oh, yeah, they just want him to go along with that plan of trading her for his brother and just kind of be done with her.
Yeah, but it's not that simple because he fell in love with her and now he wants to
Mhm.
marry her because now he realizes that she's part. I think I feel like it's probably like he feels like she's part Atlantean and she could kind of like maybe not like unite everything, but kind of I don't know, like kind of take back something because like I don't know, like I'm trying to like see why he wants to marry her all of a sudden. And all I can really think of is like he loves her now, and now he just wants to. Um,
Yes, but I feel like there's some ulterior motive there where like it benefits him also in the book. I feel like it's not just because like I love her, I'm just gonna trap her in this marriage and we're gonna be happy. I don't think it's that.
I know. I just like when I read that last line, I was like, I literally like grabbed my pillow and like screamed at my pillow because this is what I like love. Like especially like how much she like hates them. Like I'm like, this is great because they're gonna just fall in love now with each other, like who the person really is, and we're gonna learn that he's not who he is who he was pretending to be, like this Hawk person. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't all a lie. And like I can't wait for him to grovel because he really fucked up. And like I was so mad at him too at first. I was just like was like, why wouldn't you tell her? Like, why would you do this? But at the same time, I'm like, I have a feeling it's gonna be like a really good like redemption for him. And yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like he does have a good reason, kind of. Like it was messed up, like everything that he's done. Like, but I think that some like I feel like it was real. Like most of their scenes together, I feel like were real. Like I don't think that that stuff was a lie. And I
No, definitely not.
no, and I can't wait for him to tell her that, and it's gonna be great. And yeah, another scene that I really loved was at the very end. Like one thing, like another thing, like that's really great about Poppy is, you know, we've said that she's such a fighter and she's so strong, and she doesn't she doesn't take shit. Like this happened to her, this betrayal, and she doesn't just comply. And that's why I really love her, and that's why I'm really excited for this relationship to keep going because she does not let him get away with ever with this. She stabs him through the heart. Like she literally pulls like a Buffy and like stabbed him
That's what it
through
reminded me too.
the
I was like,
heart.
oh my gosh, are we in Buffy now?
Like she literally stabs him through the heart and then runs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's getting away. She's getting away. And I'm also kind of like,
She
the
was okay with just killing him right there.
Yeah, I'm just like, did she just kind of kill him? Um, but it's sad because she's, like, crying as she's running, and she knew that she had to do that because
Mhm.
her goal now it's they both have the same goal. They're both kind of like, "I need to save my brother," because her brother is also there with, like, her brother has ascended, which we don't know what happened to her brother. So she's like, "I need to get to my brother too." And so she's, like, on the run, and then he, like, tackles her in the snow, and that's when he bites her, and oh my god, that scene was crazy, like
I was, like, shocked during that scene. I was like, "What is going on?"
that was wild, like, that was insane, but, um, yeah, and then there was, like, the bloodlust, and that was when we got to, like, all those scenes, and yeah, he is ruthless, though, like but,
That's
like
I feel like he's definitely a lot darker than I don't wanna compare him to any other guys, but I feel like out of the other darker bad boy guys that we've read in books before, like, he's, like, definitely bad. Like,
he's
not
favorite.
even, like, rebellious. He's,
No,
like
he
I don't
no,
wanna say evil, but I don't know, like,
I
a
mean
little villainous?
I mean, he kills people. Like
Yeah, like, he kills people and he doesn't I don't know. And, like, he has good reasons for it, like, most of it, I guess, but
oh my god, this book in
he's
general
definitely very dark.
I do feel like this book in general is very gory. Like, it's very, like, gruesome. Like, there's, like, that scene when Poppy kills Lord Mazine or whatever, when she kills him,
Mhm.
and she fucking, like, chops him up like he's, like, a steak. Like, she literally, like, goes to town and lets out everything, and
Mhm.
you can't blame her. Like, I was cheering for her at that scene. I'm just like, "Yes, Poppy, like, go for it," because after everything that he did, like, do it. But, yeah, it's not like it's a very bloody book, especially, like, in the right when they get attacked, and then we see the Duke is, like, strung up, and it's, like, "From blood and ash we will rise,"
Mhm.
and, like, the Dark One symbol, and he's, like, stuck through with the cane, and yeah, like, I thought that was really cool, and then we learned that the reason why he did that, like, that was Hawke that did that to the Duke because he had found out about what was going on with, Poppy and what he was using that
I
cane.
loved that. As soon as that happened, I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, he did it for her."
Right? See, like, that's my thing, like, even at, like, the very end of the book, like, when he killed, like, all those guys who, like, beat her up, and he
Mhm.
had them, like, strung up, like, in the hallway. I was like see,
Mhm.
like, I don't know what
Like,
that's
he's not messing around, like, he's
no.
serious, like, he will
He's
kill you.
he's like, "If you mess with Poppy, you're dead."
Mhm.
And, like, I like that. Like, I don't know what that says about me, but I'm like, "This is great." Like, I kind of like this like, I kinda like that he would literally like, he's so like, "I will do anything for you." Like, literally, "I will kill for you anybody who hurts you."
Mhm.
And, yeah, like, I get why some people are, like were, like, really angry with him because, like, I was angry with him too, especially, like, when you find out, like, when you're reading her thought process, I'm just so hurt. You're just so hurt by her, for her, how she feels like she was used this whole time and how she still doesn't have a choice. And he still technically has her prisoner. And that's why it's really sad because she kind of exchanged one cage for another cage, it feels like. But
Mhm.
I think where the story's going is what I'm the most excited about and why I love it because I feel like it's gonna have such a strong, like, arc and how she is gonna be
That and I feel like once she's on his side and
yes,
completely, they're gonna be a really great team.
exactly, because they both have this violent tendency, like, they both are, like, these like, they're both technically, like, have these villainous traits, like, they're not these, like, good characters, like, they do what needs to be done, they both kill. I
Mhm.
mean, like, Poppy is not like, she literally was able to, like, she kills easily too, just like he does. So
Mhm.
I feel like I don't know, I just feel like they do have that in common where they will do anything for the people that they care about, because I think it's jarring how, like, seeing it, how ruthless Hawke was at the very end of this book, but it's also kind of like exciting because I also feel like she's gonna calm him down a bit too. Like I feel like she's
Yeah,
just
I think that they'll
kind of,
definitely balance each other out when they get
yeah,
to
like
that point because
exactly.
he's a little bit too villainous, and I feel like she's like still not to that point. Like she's still like a little bit in her old ways where like that was her world. She hasn't completely accepted that like the world that she knew is not really what it seemed. So I feel
Mhm.
like once she gets to that point, like they'll be able to balance each other out a little bit in that way. Like she'll calm him down a little and
That's
he'll
what I
like
feel. I feel like that too. Like they're gonna kind of balance each other out. Where
yeah.
she's gonna kind of teach him like to feel that humanity, like to really be like, no, like listen, like I get it. You have like good intentions, like you have reasons, but
Mhm.
these are still people. Like I think seeing um what was his name? The Mr. Tullis, the one that was like human who had like the son and the wife. Like I think that one was, she was like, no, like listen, that's also somebody's father too. Like, you know, he made
Mhm.
the wrong choice. I get it. Like he was gonna kill me, but it's still somebody's father. Like I just feel like through that they're gonna, like she's gonna be able to teach him too, and he's gonna have really great development. And obviously like so is she, because I feel like she's also going to get more powerful as the books progress, and I'm very excited to keep going and see what is going to happen.
Me too, definitely. I think that is really all. We kind of
I
went
think
through a
we covered
lot.
everything in this book. I think we covered
Let us
everything.
know what you guys thought of the book down in the comments below. Please don't spoil us. So if you did read the series, because we are going to read the next one, and we will do another review when we finish that book and the third one. If you're interested in joining our book club, the details are in the description box below. So you could check that out as well. The next book is obviously the second one that we're going to read in the book club. So
Yeah, but we're gonna try to get through A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire and the third book like this month. I'm like we're gonna kind of like binge read them like in the next like week or two. So that'll be done before May, and then we'll like figure out our May book. I don't even think we know what we're reading yet. Like so if you guys have any options, like let us know. We kind of have a list of all the books that we want to read so that we could keep doing reviews and stuff. We really enjoy doing like these book discussions. So we're very excited about some books that we have on our list. But so definitely be on the lookout for our reviews for the rest of this series. We're really excited to talk about those as well and see like how crazy it's gonna be like as the books progress. And yeah, we are really excited.
thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.